Hey, welcome back. Sorry about the first one. It got canceled due to a error at YouTube. I don't know. I'm not trying to talk smack. Yeah, Robert. Sorry about that. Wow. And Todd and anybody else. YouTube said that they had an error and it dropped the whole stream on me. So I apologize on that. That was not my fault. I was nowhere near reaching up over here to touch the end button. Howdy, Horatio. Great to see. Great to see you. So, wow. Live stream number one got the axe because of an error at the YouTube. I don't know if it was because I said something about YouTube earlier or whatever. But the first one, it quit, and I'm back. But as I was saying, howdy, Steve, by the way, and howdy to all of y'all. Thank you for coming back. And for those who were just trying to get here on the first one, sorry that I couldn't stick around. That was not my fault. Obviously not my fault. When I was just about ready to cut a cigar, it's easier to do with this with my glasses off because then I don't get the corrected vision and then non-corrected vision playing with me. And I try to do this high enough up that people can see that I'm actually doing this with a knife and show you that I'm actually pretty good at this with a knife. Now, slip these back inside the hood, but Todd, the answer is long, and if we were to watch the movie Top Gun and Distinguished, kind of like my, oh, sorry, I can't finish that statement. That might get me a copyright strike. Robert, I'd be okay with everybody forgetting who the Beatles are. Maybe the Beatles would not be okay with that, but I'm not going to sit there and complain that people don't know who the Beatles are. It's not up to me to tell people where to find music. Huvailta again, Boris. Boris, you're so far into the future. How come you didn't warn me that YouTube was about to cancel my stream? In mid-sentence, no less. It's warning next time. Come on, brother. Help a brother out. You know I'm playing. Anybody thinks I'm serious about that, y'all haven't been around a while. You'd have to know. For whatever reason, I pick on Boris, and Boris never picks on me back. Maybe he does. He puts Finnish words in there, and then I go and try to find them on Google Translate and hope like hell I get something even close to what he said. Oh, you thought it would be next night. Okay, I understand. It's all good. Yes, so as I was showing y'all, this jacket with this pocket unzipped allows a lot of the air flow right through. I am not trying to stay absolutely warm. I'm just trying to stay without an earache and dry enough that I don't catch a chill anyways. Good old Airplane. Or is that Naked Gun? I'm pretty sure it was Airplane. Yes, you can light a cigar with a Zippo. Ah, yes, Boris. I understand. But I know why it feels so much colder. It's because you had that nice warming, creeping coming up, and you had some temperatures above freezing and various different. And then suddenly it took that sharp dip back into crap, it's cold. But your body is at that point going like, hey, I'm okay with 3-4 degrees above freezing. And then suddenly it's 20 degrees lower than that, and you're going, hey, that hurts. Here it's actually a almost 40-degree drop. I mean, it was almost 80, and by the time I get off of this live stream, it's going to be just above 40. That is a pretty close to 40-degree Fahrenheit temperature drop. A little uncomfortable. Robert, I was there yesterday, brother. I was there yesterday. And when you start feeling that the temperature is dropping off on you, if it gets there this evening and it just starts dropping, just go ahead and go put some pants and a longer sleeve shirt on. You'll probably want it. Hey, Boris, you don't have to tell me. Remember that hard freeze that Houston had last year? That was a week ago today. Well, a week and a year ago today. It got down to 15 or 16 degrees Fahrenheit, depending upon what I was told. By which phone. Because I had my tablet out there and my phone was saying it was 15, and my tablet was saying that it was 16. They're getting the information from the same place too, so that's the confusing part. It's not even my fault. I don't know how the same app can be so different from two devices that are at the same exact location. Howdy, Matthew. Great to see you, sir. I'm having another Canada Dry. It has as much sugar as a quart of buttermilk. Just ask James Stumbo. Let's see. Let me read the can, make sure that I saw that correctly. There it is, right there. Total sugars, 36 grams. And James Stumbo showed us yesterday that a quart of buttermilk has 36 grams of sugars. Boris, you amaze me, sir. You're talking about shorts, and it's still probably snowing where you're at. And I'm sitting here going like, it's not even freezing yet, and I'm going to wear a jacket. Oh yeah, Steve. One thing we can guarantee in this part of the world is that Mother Nature is schizophrenic. She can't make up her own damn mind on what temperature she's going to throw at you. You're going to boil one day and you're going to freeze the next, and somewhere in between, you're going to get soaked all the way through. Good luck figuring it out when. There's no way to tell. Shorts and a hoodie. Right on, brother. Right on. Keep the ears warm. Hey, I'm going to remind y'all of one simple statement here. 80% of the heat that is lost by the human body in the winter is lost out the top of your head. They tell you to wear a hat. Me, I just wear layers. Welsh Piper, howdy, sir. Great to see you, sir. Always like it when my people from across the pond are able to join in. I say my people. What I mean is the YTPC. Y'all are my people just like I am your people. We all tend to agree on one simple thing. Tobacco is good for us. Whether people want to believe it or not, I don't care. And the way I figure it, it's good for us because we are more contemplative and calmer in our decision-making processes. Okay, maybe not me. I tend to shoot from the hip. But I stick to what I say, so it's right there. Yeah, Boris, that's exactly the point. I can adapt to steady cold temperatures. I've proven it. I've been way out there in the north part of the world. This is an 8 Upman 1844. And it was made in Nicaragua with some Honduran and some Dominican stuff. But it was made to mimic something that is Cuban. And they did a pretty good job on getting that mimicking pretty close. I gotta open this up just a little bit. Give me a brief second here. Got a tar spot. For those of you who have been smoking cigars for a while, you understand what a tar spot is. It's just a spot where the tobacco tends to be pushing all the moisture. At least with a cigar, that's what it is. And all the tar and resins will filter to that one spot, and it will start to tar up. You see it. It will look, if you can remember what it looked like beforehand, let's see if we can focus in on it now. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's wanting to focus in on it. Anyways, it starts to look like a lot of Lajero in one spot. But if you notice that there was no Lajero on your cigar to begin with, then you'll see where it starts to tar up. And what you do, you take a nice sharp knife and you scrape a couple of layers off of that top layer of tobacco, and you'll be just fine. Of course, you end up with a small layer of tobacco there in your mouth. Welsh, yes, a V-cut probably would have been better for this particular cigar. I will agree with that. However, a lot of people hear me say, yes, I use my knife, but then I cut it way down here, and you can't see it. And this time, I cut it up here where you could see me doing what I was doing. Or at least you could see I was doing something with a knife. Steve, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Steve. I find the contemplative nature of smoking a pipe or a cigar is completely healthy. One, I tend to be a lot less attemptive to be actively involved in things. Two, I'm also not reading the news on some of the crazy crap that's going on in the world right now. Oh, by the way, as far as me reading the news, I read one story in one location if it's interested me, and then I will find their counterpart somewhere and I will read it from that other point of view, and then I will find some third or fourth point of view and I will look at them all through those points of view, and then I will form my own opinion. I am not one of those that just jumps on a topic and then hammers on it because I saw one little post of it. Howdy, Jeff. Great to see you, sir. Oh, Welsh, I could have cut this straight. Sure, not a problem. But again, I wanted to show that if you have a sharp knife, you can do a real nice cut with just a sharp knife. Quite literally, for the longest time, I never even had a cigar cutter. I would use whatever tool I had that came to hand that could get the job done, including sharp rocks. I have used sharp rocks to cut a cigar. Ah, come on, Robert. That'll get you arrested in wrong places until they figure out that you were just fucking with people. Welsh, I've seen a few people missing a small tip of the thumb or pinky. But 18 years as an electrician, I got real handy with keeping my knife sharp. And then I'm going to tell you the other side. Sharp is safe. Dull is where it gets dangerous. You can take something that's razor sharp and it will stay right where you want it to in a cigar as you cut. Whereas if you get dull, it will grab, and then as it builds up pressure, when it finally slips, it will move quickly. It might still be sharp enough to cut you, but for the most part, the sharper it is, the safer it is with knives. Plus, this is something, and Boris can back me up on this because he was in the medical field. If you get cut with a dull knife, it's going to leave some jaggedness. So they've got to do some weird stuff to stitch that back together. Whereas you get cut with a really super sharp knife, it makes just a straight line cut, and they can go in and stitch, 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 and they're done. So it's always been true. It was very true in the electrical field. Steve, I have seen that done, and I was never that desperate. I one time took a straight pin that anybody who sews probably has 80 million of them somewhere around the house. My mother-in-law sews, so I've got 80 million of them somewhere around the house. But I took a straight pin and I just jabbed a little hole right next to a little hole right next to a little hole until I made it all the way around. And then just turned it over and used the little head of the needle to just hook underneath and yank, well, basically it turns into a plug. Just yank the plug out. Hey, there it was. Perfectly cut. Woo! 6:45. Temperature falling. Feeling good, though. Feeling good. Again, I am not cold. I am just trying to keep the ears from having a bad issue. Well, I'm going to tell you straight. About midnight, I'm not going to wake up with my ear feeling like it's going to explode, which is a good thing. Exactly, Boris. I can take a deep cut with a couple of stitches, but you know what? I can also just pour in a little super glue and squeeze it together. It'll be fine. Welsh, I think you're right. I think you're right. There might be a song on that issue. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try for the copyright strike, but I'm fairly sure you're correct. Oh, I'm also not going to try and sing it, mostly because that's not a song I will sing. Yes, but Robert, does it feel so right? Couldn't help it. And here I was waiting for someone to bring up Mac the knife. Don't worry, this is a Gerber. And you know what's cool about Gerber? Something I found out this week. Well, Robert, that's because sometimes love doesn't feel like it should. Oh, back to Gerber. Something I found out this week. Did not know. No, not about the baby food. No, I knew about the baby food. Gerber is owned and made by a Finnish company that is famous for their cutting tools. Go ahead, Boris. Type it in there. You know the name. Howdy, Cedric. Great to see you, sir. Well, you know, I have rode my motorcycle in the rain. That's one of those songs I sing to my wife all the time when I'm trying to screw with her. Because I've also told her dirty jokes until she smiled. Of course, I guess you would believe it from me. That's right, Boris. Fiskars. Fiskars owns and makes Gerber knives. I like Gerber. They make damn good knives. And this thing is the Gerber Crucial. You've seen me cut cigars with it. A shit ton of cigars with it. Now, it's a little expensive, but for a multi-tool that does just what you barely need from everything, well, I'm going to tell you, I like it. The El Casco cutter. Actually, I am not sure what the El Casco cutter is. Matthew, I have a Leatherman also. But I really only use this knife blade on cigars. And I mean, I've got another Gerber here, right here. I use this knife blade on pretty much everything else. The Leatherman, which I like Leatherman, but for me it's harder to sharpen. Now it stays sharp fairly much, just as long as the Gerber, but the edge geometry that they come factory with is harder for me to sharpen. So it's harder for me to work with. And the Gerber edge is just, it's exactly what I naturally work with when I'm working with a stone or a ceramic rod or whatever. So when I'm sharpening the Gerber, it's easy. It's super easy for me to do. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the Leatherman, but their edge geometry is different from the Gerber edge geometry. And it might only be slightly, but I find I have to slow down and really think about how to do this exactly perfect with the Leatherman. And with the Gerber, I can just zip, 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 and I'm done. And everybody's like, how do you do it so fast with a Gerber? It's just where mine naturally goes to. Ah, yes. Phil Rivara got a Yabo from Stumbo. I would suggest watching that one. I'm not going to tell you what it's about. But we all got hints about what it's about yesterday at Stumbo's family gathering. Horatio, I'm okay with the Swiss Army knife / multi-tool, but none of those has a locking blade. It'll fold back up on you. I like a locking blade, but that's because I was an electrician for many years. I've seen guys with those that would fold back up, accidentally fold them back up on their fingers. Right. So, well, Matthew, the whole thing there is I never carry a knife that's not sharp. And if I need to use it, I use it. But back when this was just a tool, I could sharpen that blade in 30 seconds or less, from pretty damn dull to shaving quality. And oh, okay, if yours locks, that's good. I've just never had a Swiss Army that locked. Kershaw's good. Spyderco's good. There's lots of knives out there that are good. This is readily available at most academies, sports and outdoors. It's a good little Texas company. I like to support home when I can. Oh, okay. Tactics. I'll have to look them up there, Welsh. Not a problem. I'm not going to say that there's one knife that is superior. Don't get me wrong. If it works for you, then it's good. This works for me and works very well for me. I've been known to give those away as Christmas presents. Not since I haven't had a job, because they're about $50 each, but holy cow. Okay, seriously, El Casco cutters. If you're looking at a cutter that's going to run you over $100 at all, anywhere, period, you have to remember sooner or later those blades will get dull. So if it doesn't have a lifetime guarantee, don't waste your money. You can get a Xikar, that would be Xikar, and you can get Calibri. Don't ask me to spell Calibri. I always spell it wrong unless I'm staring at the letters. And those both have a lifetime guarantee, and you're not going to end up with $100+ I mean, let's see, euros. So 117 euros is what? About $130. Oh, good Lord. $200. No. There's no cutter worth $200. Quite literally, if you want the best cutter on the market, 100 or less, or maybe it's right at about 100, go look at the Calibre SV cutter. It's two-sided. One does a V cut, one does a straight cut. All you will ever need, period. And that's the deep V cut that is unmatched anywhere in the cigar world, and then a flat cut that is really sharp. They've got a lifetime guarantee. It does 2 different cuts. You'll never need another cutter unless you want to get a punch. There's so many different sizes of punches. I've got 2 punches. Yeah. Your cutter should not cost more than your box of cigars. And I could get some damn good cigars, full boxes, for less than $200. Welsh, it actually will not stop you from cutting at an angle, but the back plate will keep you from cutting too much. Now, you can set that cutter on a flat surface, stick your cigar in it, and then cut. I showed that, what, last week, maybe the week before? So a cutter, look, I've got a cutter right here. It would have cut that just fine. I mean, no problem. Would have cut that super quick. But you take your cutter, you put it down on any flat surface, you hold it up there straight, and you squeeze those sides, and it'll do exactly what that same stop will do. I did not get any Amazon basins. My buddy's shop, his supply has not showed up yet. But he did say he'd hold me back 5 and call me as soon as they show up. And I've already got the money, so it's the way it is. Welsh, yes, the DuPont. DuPont makes some good stuff, but they are super expensive. And with their lighters, what I do not like is that you have to use the DuPont fluid. Otherwise, it voids your warranty for lifetime warranty. They put a little tracking molecule in with their fluid so that they can tell if you've been using their stuff or not. Yeah, there's some people out there that have some really expensive clothes and stuff. I'm not that kind of guy. If I'm going to go get something that's super crazy expensive and only really going to be useful in certain situations, it's going to be firearms. And you'll never see those here. I'm never bringing those out to show them here. I might have them on me right now, but I'm still not showing them. I just don't believe in spending extravagant amount of money for something that does not work any better than something that works really damn good at half or less than half the price. One of the best lighters I ever had is a Vertigo made by Lotus. $10. 3-barrel flame. Works great. Cheap. Still, it works great. What do I care? I don't care how cheap it is. When I pick up a tool, I want it to work. And a lighter is just a tool. Yeah, you can get the expensive, super fancy ones if you like, but remember, at the end of the day, it is just a tool. And as far as it goes, if I could get more cigar cutters that I could sharpen myself, yeah, I would never even have to worry about a lifetime guarantee because I'd sharpen them up myself. Boris, he probably did. There's a company by the name of Lou Casey, but it looks like Lucky Cheese. Kind of like Lucky. It always looks like Lucky Cheese to me, anyways. Not Lucky, but more like if you hooked on phonics, spelled Lucky Cheese. But they're called Lou Casey's. Great boots, don't get me wrong. Great cowboy boots. But whoa, is that expensive. Granted, you'll buy them once and you'll wear your feet out before you wear the boots out. And if you're getting them made to exactly your feet instead of just buying the ones on the shelf that are close enough, then yeah, you're going to pay for them. But at the end of the day, remember, they're still going to stink. I don't have a pair of boots that don't stink after about 3 weeks on my feet. Come on. Doesn't matter what kind of powder or wash or whatever I use, they're still going to stink. Which brings me back to the water boy with the statement of men are supposed to have stanky feet. And those are not my bed sheets. Remember, I said I was just going to shoot from the hip and call it like I see it. No big deal. Well, come on, gentlemen. Let's face it. Underwear are just there so you can wear the same pair of pants the next day. Take off those drawers, throw them in the laundry or the trash. Doesn't matter. But your pants are still clean enough to wear the next day. Or at least should be. Yeah, Boris. If I had a ton of money, yes, I would have shoes that are actually made for my feet. Because just about no shoemaker on the planet makes shoes to fit my foot to just shove them up there on the rack. I've got really wide front and real narrow back. It's like a duck's foot. Steve, don't get me wrong. You go down there to Mexico, you could get some of those hand tailored to you boots, and they will last for damn near forever. The only thing then you need to find is someplace that'll resole them, because you'll never wear the tops out. It'll only be the bottoms. And I'm sure that's where yours wore out, was at the bottom. My major problem would be I'd be going out and getting work boots. I almost went and spent the money to have a special order pair of Red Wing boots. It's going to run me about $1,000. But getting to talking with the people, I asked how long they were going to actually last. Were they going to last any longer than the regular Red Wings? Which I'd burn through a pair of Red Wings about every year. Nope, they're not going to last any longer than those. So I was like, well, then I'll just stick with this $150 pair of Red Wings and be just as happy. Oh, the Red Wings I had a set of laces that you'd literally twist a crank and tighten them up. I used to wear them all the time when I was having to work inside the airports, because you go through those metal detectors and they want you to take your boots off. Well, you pop the little dial thing forward and it releases the laces, and you just pull them open like as if they're slip-ons, and then you stuff them back on your feet and rit, and tight as hell, and you can go away. People at the airport thought they were the coolest shit. Oh, Welsh, I did not send you anything because I don't have your address. And I don't have the money to send anything right now. Trying to save up some monies for an Asikian pipe. Yeah, there's some places out there in the world that they might arrest you for window shopping. Call it window shoplifting. They can't sell me nothing. I'll just walk on by. Oh no, I'm not sending anything 9mm. Nope. 9mm ammunition is hard to find here in Texas. You got to order ahead of time, and it's better to order in bulk. With all the lead in there, damn cans of ammo damn near need a forklift to get it out of the UPS trucks that deliver it. Don't blame me. I'm just letting you know. I really would have preferred 45, but my mother-in-law getting older and still being able to shoot, but getting older. I don't want anything in the house that if she needs to use it, she has to pick it up and then worry about breaking a hip. Now, let's be honest. What I could handle might knock her down. So I switched everything out to 9mm. Simple instructions though with a 9mm. Keep pulling the trigger until it stops going bang. Oh, I did have a tailored suit one time. Uncle by marriage, one of his daughters was getting married, and I got tagged with, hey, you need to show up for this. And I was like, man, I don't have shit to wear to something like that. Oh, the Assekian pipes, yes, yes. No, I don't want a 9mm. But if it shows up as a 9mm, I will figure out a way to get a adapter so that it's filterless. There's several adapters out there ready to buy, no problem. I could talk to Eddie at the Pipe Nook and get him to send me a Savinelli one. I might have to pay for it, but I'll find out what it costs and I'll get him to send me one. Welsh, no, I have not ordered a Assekian yet. Like I said, I'm saving my pennies. I'll get there eventually. But I know what kind of the Assekians I like. I like the ones that look like they have a little lattice design and all of the rustication is kind of in a leopard or giraffe print looking thing. But it's smooth, but it's also rusticated. I don't know what it is about that. To me, it's like, wow. I never even thought about doing something like that. But it's beautiful to me. So I know that's kind of what I want. Dimes and quarters. I gotta have a job before I can start saving dimes. We drop dimes. And quarters don't even make a phone call no more. So just gotta save what I can. I remember this Nashville Mafia Tailgate. Who dropped dime? Means ratting someone out. I don't rat nobody out. There's no reason to rat nobody out. Sorry about the smoke blowing across the camera. I apologize. Damn good cigar, though. Oh, yeah, the draft is coming up, and I seriously doubt that the Raiders are going to pick right. There's a lot of needs, and most of it's on defense, and I think they just need to figure out a way to make a deal for Derek and make it happen. Howdy, James. Great to see you, sir. And I am doing excellent, sir. This is literally just to keep the ears from having a problem later on tonight. I don't like earaches. I do what it takes to get it done. And this jacket is just because it's drizzling a little bit, and it's got that waterproofing so that a little bit just kind of drops right off. I didn't get no 50 cent at halftime. Gotta remember, he spent too much time hanging out with Money Mayweather. That's where all that money was. Boris, I do like and appreciate a nice open draw, but the 9mm for me has just too much of an open draw. I tried that with my Savinelli, and I got a Savinelli 320, and I tried it with the filter, and I didn't like that, and I tried it without the adapter, and I didn't like that, but then I tried it with the adapter, and I was like, done. That's it. That's where I'm staying. So now on anything I get that's a 9mm, I immediately start hunting for an adapter to make it the 3mm filterless that I like. Yes, James, who's winning at wrestling tonight? Actually, I'm thinking AEW doesn't start quite yet. Or maybe they just did. I'm not sure. James, if you're still here, Welsh wants to know about the acrylic rods and getting them out of the silicone tube or the acrylic tubes. Is CM Punk actually an older star? I mean, I heard about him once. I don't remember what I heard about him. I kind of stopped watching wrestling a while back. Not my fault. Welsh, what are you pouring the stuff into? Oh my God, I just got notified that Nashville Mafia just went live. I know that means that they're on black screen, but if anybody wants to listen to Italian themed music and a straight black screen, go ahead and jump on over. I'm going to stay on just a little bit so that Welsh Piper and James Stumbo can get this conversation about acrylic and silicone and anything else. Also, happy birthday, Amber. Again, I said it during the live, but hey, you can never have too many happy birthday wishes. Well, I saw that Simon was on. I didn't even expect to have 8 to 10 people here. I appreciate y'all showing up. Don't get me wrong at all. Tailgating is just that. It's tailgating. Okay, Welsh, you're making acrylic tubes. I have no knowledge about acrylic or epoxies or nothing that's going to make any kind of anything happen here. Oh, you're pouring epoxy into acrylic tubes. Okay, so you're making an epoxy rod. Again, I have no knowledge of anything other than I'm just reading the conversation and trying to help out. That's where I heard of CM Punk from. He got into a UFC and got like blasted. Went right back to wrestling. That's right. Okay, so James, he has some acrylic tubes and he's pouring epoxy into the tubes. I'm not sure you can get epoxy out of an acrylic tube after you've done that. But all I know about epoxy is like from epoxy and bolts into concrete and stuff like that. You do that a lot in the electrical field. It's also done a lot when you're trying to affix a boiler to a concrete slab. So take the knife, cut the acrylic, and then the acrylic's toast. Well, ouch. In that case, it might be more useful to go get some large polystyrene tubes that are basically straws. Good Lord, 60 pounds for those tubes. Wow. Right. So as James said, with the silicone, you can get the epoxy out of them, and then you can reuse the silicone for the next pour, as long as you're careful. Well, a lot of pen makers use square rods for when they're going to start, and then they put it in a lathe and get it down to a circle. Ah, PVC. Yeah, PVC would work. Uh, you might just want to figure out a way to get that to hold up. Well, because when you cut the PVC, then your PVC is done. Unless, of course, you're going to band it and seal it and then use that same split each time. Okay, so you have to have a vacuum pump so that you can pull a negative vacuum on it so that all the air will pop out. And that makes it solid. That makes sense to me. Right, right. I hear exactly what you're saying, James. It'd be just like Briar with occlusions and sand pits. It could seriously compromise your whole rod. Welsh says he warms it up with hot water and that virtually removes the bubbles. Again, I don't know enough about epoxy to be anything but counterproductive here. You could always start buying cigars in glass tubes. Pour the epoxy, snap on a vacuum pump, and when you're ready to get it out, just bash away on it. Probably would not be effective, but just saying. Okay, James, that's good to know. Okay, Steve, well, that's interesting. Uh, might be worth a shot for some people. Amazon Prime, trying to figure out if this is the right place or the other place is the right place. So I'm going to agree with James on this because I've mixed some epoxy, like the Gorilla Glue epoxy that comes in 2 tubes with 1 plunger. Then when you stick it into something, it starts to bubble as it's curing. Uh, so I could see that a vacuum pump might actually really work better in that. Well, I'll have to start helping you look for one then, James. See if we can't find one that's actually going to meet your needs. there are some that shouldn't be super expensive. Okay, so if Bill Rivera and Jason Mouton are both using the same type of vacuum pump, then that's probably the one you should get. I don't know the price tag. 119, that's not a bad price for a vacuum pump. Granted, it's up front, that's a bit of coin to throw down on something, but if it's a good quality pump, it'll last for years and years and years, and it's a one-time purchase, and it expands all kind of things that you get. And again, I don't know enough about epoxy to be anything but trying to get the conversation smooth. So please, nobody ask me those questions about epoxy. And James, you're right. This is 36 grams of sugar. Same as your whole quart of buttermilk. And I like buttermilk too. James, I'm right there with you. I don't spend money on anything because I don't like spending Holly's money. And until I get a job, I am not throwing money at things. She gives me a certain amount for tobacco every little bit, and I buy tobacco with it. But I work my butt off for that little $100 worth of tobacco. Horatio, that Stogie's pretty damn good. I am not cold, by the way. Like I said, this is all just about keeping the ears from having a major issue later. And the outer jacket is, again, just because there's a little bit of a mist. And I don't want the wet to be soaked into my whole body. James, if you get that link and you can't get it to Welch in any way, shape, or form, send it to me. I'll copy it and paste it into here. And right now, I can't make you a mod before this thing's over. But I am doing a tailgate tomorrow for Robert, and I can make sure that I've got it ready to go. Oh, James, that's right. Welsh, remember, Simon, when you see Simon, if James is there, just hit him up and he can post it right there. Yeah, James, go ahead and shoot it over to my uh, messenger. Because if you haven't gotten it to him by then, I can do it right here tomorrow. I'm always trying to help out the whole community. James, wrestling's on. What the heck are we doing? Actually, no, they're not on yet, are they? So, Welsh, make sure to remember you mix your epoxy, you put it in your vacuum pump, and then you pour it into your tube super slowly. Not a problem, Welsh. I have that cigar knowledge, sure, but that has nothing to do with epoxy. But I greatly pass on any information that these guys are giving me to try and help out anybody else who's in the community. So, James, it's kind of like trying to pour a beer, but make sure there's no head. You pour it real slow, and you might want to use a little bit of an angle, maybe, so that it slides down your mold. Okay, I got it. That way you're pouring it in the side of the tube. You might have a flat spot where it is done, but if you're making big enough, you don't have to really too much worry about the flat spot, right? I got it. Oh, okay. So I see what you're getting at. Yeah. All right, so are we still needing more time here, or are we jumping over? I know James has got wrestling with Hunter here in a minute. That's true, James. They are definitely round. Well, I don't want to keep you from your time with Hunter. James, that's all I'm trying to do too, brother. Ah, you've got it paused. TiVo that sucker. Hell yeah. Well, it looks like James and Welsh are the only two left. If we still need to discuss things, go ahead. Keep going. You're not holding me up. I'm here to help. And James, just send me that link on Messenger whenever you get a chance. Don't worry about trying to do it right now. I know you got family stuff to do, so family first. God, Steve's here still, too. I'm getting an education on epoxy. Whether y'all think it or not, I'm learning. Well, Amazon delivers worldwide, so that would be good. James, like I said, I don't know nothing about epoxy. Just enough to be letting y'all know that I don't know nothing. Not a problem, Welsh. It's so good to have y'all in. And everybody who's here, it's been very good to have y'all here. That's an interesting thought there, James. A lot of people use glass pebbles around here, but that's because the glass tends to last a little bit longer. But I could see that. All right, night, gentlemen. Y'all take care. I will see y'all as soon as I get back in tomorrow. And whoever's going to the Nashville Mafia, I will see y'all. And James, it's terrazzo, where they scrub it down and they turn it a different color. Makes really pretty patterns. All right, gentlemen, y'all take care. I will see y'all again soon. Thank y'all for being here. It's been my pleasure having y'all over. Again, remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Do the best you can with that. And as per always, remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care. I will see y'all, well, soon. Talk to you later. Bye for now.